The Sunday school lesson for April the 6th, 2025 is The Great Multitude, Revelation chapter 7, verses 9 through 17. Welcome, viewers and subscribers, to my channel, Read With Me. I am Audrey. If you are new here, please know that this is an audio reading of the lesson. Thankful worship expressed. Revelation chapter 7, verses 9 through 12. Worship by the multitude. Revelation chapter 7, verses 9 through 10. The scene before us in this passage is related to the judgments God began to pour out upon the earth in chapter 6. The slain Lamb, Christ, had taken the book of judgments and broken 6 of its 7 seals. Whenever a seal was broken, a new judgment fell. People of the earth became so distressed that they cried out, "For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?" Revelation 7 introduces 2 new visions to answer that question. Indeed, some will be able to stand before God in his full favor. The first group includes 144,000 people of Israel, 12,000 from each tribe. The second group that appears to John in his vision is a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues. Those in this multitude are wearing white robes, a mark of purity that is explained later. They also have palms in their hands. The palm branches they carry signify joy and triumph, as when Jesus entered Jerusalem. Their appearance before God's throne is thus an occasion of victory. These people seem to be distinct from the 144,000 in the previous part of John's visions. Those were a specified number of Jews from specified tribes of Israel. These are from all nations, families, societies, and languages. Their number is so great that it is left indefinite. Thus, this crowd is a cross section of all peoples. John observed that they raised a mighty shout of praise. In their song of thanksgiving, the multitude proclaimed, "Salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb." Revelation 7 and 10. They thanked God for his salvation, which here should probably be taken in its primary sense of deliverance or victory. They attributed to him the victory he had won over the enemies and the deliverance from their hands that he had given the saints along with his spiritual salvation. Worship by the angels. Revelation chapter 7, verses 11 through 12. The praise of the great multitude is now taken up by all the angels round about the throne and about the elders and the 4 beasts. Here the emphasis is on the worship of the angels. Although they do not experience the same spiritual relationship with God as redeemed humans, they take a keen interest in it. The angel's ascription of praise begins with Amen, Revelation 7 and 12, thus affirming what the redeemed multitude has already said in verse 10. Salvation indeed has been achieved by God the Father on the throne and by the Lamb. The angels then go on to give a sevenfold doxology to God, verse 12. The first word, blessing, is the word from which our word eulogy comes. It implies speaking well of someone and might also be translated praise. This is what God deserves for having delivered the great multitude of saints. The second expression of worship is glory. It speaks of honor or credit deserved and redounding to one's reputation. The third ascription to God is wisdom. Wisdom has always been a part of the divine character, including not only infinite knowledge, but also the discernment to do with it what is best. God exhibited wisdom in creating the world, but it is seen in even sharper focus in his marvelously executed plan to redeem his fallen creatures and now to perfect them. Thanksgiving is the angel's fourth expression of worship. This is the Greek word from which we get Eucharist. It combines the two ideas of freely giving and doing it well. This is not used here as an attribute of God, but as a response to his goodness by his creatures. The angels freely express their gratitude for all that their Creator has accomplished in salvation. Honor, the fifth term, refers to the esteem that accrues to God for the outworking of his marvelous design for his creation. The sixth ascription, power, and the seventh, might, are connected. The first is a general term that points out the omnipotence God has exhibited in overcoming his enemies and delivering his people. The second refers to the raw strength that undergirds all his deeds. Thankful worshipers identified. Revelation chapter 7, verses 13 through 17. The question posed. Revelation chapter 7, verse 13. In John's vision, one of the 24 elders approached him with a question. In this case, the elder asked him a question he probably assumed John had in his mind. He asked John who the people arrayed in white robes were and where they came from. This query reveals that visions were given not just to dazzle the onlooker, but to communicate a message from God. But the message was not readily apparent. Explanation was needed. In this case, John needed to know the identity of the people in the crowd and their origin. The answer given, Revelation chapter 7, verse 14. John, of course, did not know the answer to the elder's question, and he understood that he was not expected to answer it. So he said, Sir, thou knowest. Throughout Revelation, John shows deep respect for heavenly beings, and on two occasions, he falls down before an angel to worship. On both occasions, the angel stops him and refers to himself as a fellow servant of God. But it is likely that here as well, he is showing more than ordinary respect to this celestial being. When John said, Thou knowest, he placed the emphasis on thou. He was contrasting the elder's superior knowledge to his own ignorance. He put aside any speculations he might have had and deferred to the elder's superior insight. The elder's answer was, These are they which came out of great tribulation. These people had passed through the outpouring of God's judgment on the evil world. These saints, however, had not fallen under divine wrath. They had suffered at the hands of Satan and unbelievers who were trying to retaliate against God. They had been killed for their faith and had entered God's presence. Now they were safe from further harm. These saints do not gain access to heaven because of their good deeds or martyrdom. They do so because they have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. The imagery of garments being cleansed as sin is removed comes from the Old Testament. The Lamb whose blood has cleansed them is Jesus Christ, and the cleansing occurs only in response to faith. The answer expand. Revelation chapter 7, verses 15 through 17. The saints' presence before the throne carries with it both responsibilities and privileges. In the heavenly setting, they serve God day and night. That the service takes place in God's temple should be taken metaphorically of God's heavenly dwelling, since there will be no temple in the heavenly Jerusalem. There the saints enjoy the constant presence of God. He shall dwell among them. Dwell derives from the word for tabernacle, recalling the manifestation of his presence in and above Israel's tabernacle in the time of Moses. In the same way, God will spread his protection over his own eternally. John recounted other divine provisions for the redeemed multitude. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. How can the redeemed multitude experience such a drastic change in fortunes? It is because of Christ's pastoral care. For the Lamb shall feed them, and shall lead them unto living fountains of waters. Revelation 7 and 17. Feed is literally shepherd. It calls to mind images of Psalm 23 and Jesus as the good shepherd. He will tenderly care for their needs. God the Father also attends their needs. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Thank you so very much for listening. Join me soon for the next audio reading of the Sunday School lesson. Stay safe and may God bless.